Should we record a theme song? Doot, 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 doot.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. That's the theme song. Okay. All right. Ancient Call by the Crimson Armada. Welcome to our podcast. What is our podcast called?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Something.
Is that what it's called? We'll work on that?
We'll work on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Working title.
So we are doing a mixed rundown / a song overview of the new Crimson Armada track, Ancient Call. Recorded by myself, arranged the song, produced the song, and wrote all the meat and content. And Jakob here brought the song to life through his magical engineering and producing skills. Also add a lot of really cool post-production and made sure that everything was just tight and delivered the classic Guardians feel, but with a new, a new facelift, if you will.
Yeah, dude, somebody commented and was like, "Was this a B-side from Guardians?" And I was like, "Oh,
that's the best compliment for the song, honestly." So yeah, why don't we just jump into the track? I already know one thing I want to talk about. This intro. Yeah, so one thing I loved about that we changed from the pre-production. Originally, I did the classic high-pass filter opening up into the song because the song I wanted the song to jump right in, but it needed something to ease into it. And when we were reamping the guitars, we used 3 different mics. We used an SM57, an SM7B, and what was the room mic?
I think it was just the Slate mic. I think we used ML1, Slate ML1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing about that is like we tracked guitars all not all day, but like we like tracked all the DIs and we were pretty like, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 hours later and we're like, you just want to reamp it? So we're like, screw it. And we didn't like do any, like, we just set the mics up and just hit record and played it back and it was like, oh, that sounds sick. Like,
yeah.
Don't touch it. Like it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was perfect. We didn't move the mics an inch. And we also didn't EQ the mics either.
Yeah, like
that was pretty crazy that we nailed the guitar tone.
Yeah, so like this is the guitars. Like there's no plugins. The only thing I did was I used a plugin called like Auto Align, so I did align them in post, but in pre there was no alignment. It was literally just the raw mic. So there's no EQ, no nothing, just literally time editing, like slight nudging, and then it's just the bus. So like if I solo the guitars. Actually, this is the big heavy hitter, this Mixwave plugin. I use this massive vocal preset by Taylor Larson. And like something about the massive vocal preset made the guitar sound huge. Play a
this
little bit.
This plugin's sick.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of glue. It adds punch.
It's like so subtle, but I remember when we were going over the guitars, he's like, you were like, what did you do with the guitars? I was like, dude, nothing. And like, so we went through like there's 4 plugins on the guitars. And I bypassed that and you're like, oh wow. Like your gut reaction was like, dang, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
It just creates this like glue and it like pushes the guitar forward. Like I love when like the guitars are like grabbing you, like they're like jumping out of speakers and literally like grabbing you. Like I like feeling like hitting the chest with the guitar, you know what I mean? And I feel like that did this like better than any other plugin I have, honestly. It's super subtle, but it just makes that little bit of extra.
Yeah, it gives it that. Yeah, it gives it glue punch and like the wall of sound,
Yeah.
It just makes it feel fat and massive. I really like that. We should probably also talk about the rig. So the reamp rig is my Gibson Explorer straight into, so what is that, a reamp box?
Yeah, I'm literally just
so we recorded the guitars DI first and then we reamped them through this into a PV6505 and an orange 4x12, the PPC, the good one. It's right behind us here. This one, this cab, if you can see it in the shot. Yeah, and then we just mic'd up the edge of the top 2 speakers.
Then the room mic was literally just sitting up from when I did vocals last.
Yeah, it was by
Like-
the drum kit across the room.
Yeah, like it was just
Um,
like, let's see what this sounds like, and then it
Yeah.
sounded awesome. So we were like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, I love room mic on guitars. I think like you should show the difference of having the room mic and not having the room mic. It makes a huge difference. It gives it that natural air of like listening to a guitar cab in the room.
Yeah, like here's the guitar, like the left guitar without the room mic, and then here's with the room mic. It creates this like weird phasey thing, but like in a good way. Like everybody's so afraid of phase, but I'm like, man, phase can be your friend. Like it makes
It makes
the
it sound
guitars-
real.
Yeah. Like, and that was the big thing with this is like I didn't want to like Nintendo core it and make every note perfect. Like I wanted it to be like raw and human. Like basically the emotion. Like the lyrics for the song are insane. Like they're crazy intense.
Thanks.
So it's like I wanted to like translate that as much as possible. So it's like, and I feel like you resonate with like humans, not robots. So just getting you to play the riffs.
But we
over-
want the robots to like us too.
the robots need to like us. Yeah.
Yes.
But like to get the riffs like as humanly tight as possible and then send it to the amp was the way to go. I didn't want to like note build everything too much. It was kind of cool just like, yo, like give me your performance and let's just throw it through a guitar amp and see how
Yeah.
it sounds.
We did not riff build or time stretch much, right? I think it was just some breakdowns.
I didn't time stretch anything. I think the only thing that we did would be like the chugs. I probably just had you like give me a couple chugs and paste them where it's needed. But
Okay.
like other than that, it's just you playing guitar.
Hell yeah.
So
Sick.
which is what I personally wanted.
Yeah, I think we did it like something I'm really happy about is getting the mix to feel really natural
Yeah.
and not overproduced.
Yeah. It's really it's got like a lot of life to it. Like there's a lot of like energy, if that makes sense.
Sweet. Yeah, I've gotten that feedback from a lot of people that they liked how raw it felt, which
Yeah.
is kind of like the Guardians vibe. There isn't a ton of production. There's some, keys and pads and synths and stuff, which is cool because it adds, but it doesn't carry the music. If you took it out, it would still
This
be
would be a
sick.
good song, yeah.
Something that I mean, this is not shade at like metalcore bands or bands with big production these days, but I'm way more impressed when I hear two guitars, bass, and drums, or a guitar, bass, and drums and vocals, and I get this massive, and I'm just like hit with the sound. And I think we really captured that with the track here.
No, it's cool. I definitely think that like it sounds like Crimson, and that was the goal. So
Hell
dig
yeah.
it.
Sweet. Let's keep listening. Oh, I should probably mention, because no one's going to know this, I recorded all these vocals in one single take.
Dude, yeah,
and
I
on
told-
an SM7B into my Focusrite.
I told Max that, and he did not believe me. So Max,
Yeah.
if you're watching, like
I did.
it's literally one vocal stem that I went through and chopped up these to make like different effects, but the vocals that he gave me was one vocal, and this is like printed. with,
Yeah,
like, the
there are no
compression.
layers. There's no overdubs, no inserts. I recorded it all in one take, and I wanted it to be that way because that's how I will. Hopefully someday I'll perform it live, and I wanted the song and the vocals to be to carry it in such a way that I don't need any layers and I don't need any backup. And I kind of got this from playing in hardcore bands, like because you get that raw emotion, you get the mistakes and the human element that you don't get by overdubbing your vocal over and layering it to hell, which is cool for certain styles, but for something that needs to be organic and raw, and it needs to capture as much emotion and feeling as possible, I felt that one take was the way to go.
Like I work with a decent amount of bands, and I think that like a lot of bands are so like striving for perfection, and that's like what's being put out. Like every record is like so quantized and so heavily
Yeah.
edited, so tuned.
And that's I want to preface and say, like, sorry to interrupt you, but that's still good. We still need that,
No, I think it's great.
Yeah,
Like,
and I love music like that too.
well, I think we've been like bombarded with that so much that like when you hear something that's not perfect, you almost like it more. because like you resonate with it, because like you hear everything so perfect that when you hear like a human playing at this point, it's like, oh man, like that's really cool. Like it's cool that the drums are a little bit behind, or like the vocals a little out of tune. Like I think that element of it is really cool, rather than it just being like Radio Disney, like
the big thing is just like highly polished, like no surprises. Like they deliver this thing formulaically, and I think music is kind of suffering from that too. Yeah, that was something that we kept in mind going into this track. We did not want to do that, and I think thanks to you and we put our heads together. I think we delivered that.
Hell yeah. The lyrics are sick. Like, do you want to talk about like what you wrote about or anything?
Yeah. So, Ancient Call is kind of like
you're sounding the alarm. It's like a call to action or a movement, a rise, inspire.
Inspire. Yeah. So, Ancient Call is like visceral and deep sense of inspiration to return to like a more centered and a place of your source, your origin, like your true self, to the truth. There's the word truth is used in the song in a couple different ways. There's in this verse here, it says, truth has been disfigured and contorts to any shape. And that's kind of been inspired by what I've seen over the past couple of years that I've not been making music. I've noticed that like back when I was growing up, people did not refer to their perspective as their own personal truth, and I've noticed that basically anybody can say something or claim whatever they want and say, oh, this is my truth. They can kind of shape it, and through confirmation bias and how soft people are these days, and how politically correct everything needs to be, now you can create your own truth, and everyone has to believe it. And if you don't, you get canceled.
Yeah.
And that probably puts me at risk for saying that, but so I probably need to disclaim I don't hate anybody. I don't like. I accept people for who they are and whatever they claim they want to believe, and I'm not prejudiced or biased against anyone for whatever they feel is their truth, their perspective, or their journey, or their walk of life. Like I don't know enough about all the. I know so little about the world. Like it would be incredibly arrogant for me to say that my way is right and your way is wrong. But I will say that there are certain truths about the world and humanity and people that I feel people are bending in ways that are against Mother Nature. And I hate to say it. Actually, I don't hate to say it. You cannot with Mother Nature.
Yeah, nature always wins.
Nature always wins. So that's kind of like the heart and soul of Ancient Call, is kind of like a wake up call, if you will. Like we need to make sure we are recentering to what is the truth about things in this world and about ourselves. Otherwise, there are consequences. And the line, like, who can deny the Ancient Call? In the end, it's nobody. Nobody can. Mother Nature always wins.
Yeah, like Father Time's undefeated. Like, you know what I mean? Like nature will always win.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you about the lyrics, and yeah, you were saying that, and like that is a crazy thing that like we don't think about. Like there's my truth, your truth, their truth. Like everybody has their own truth, and the crazy thing is like when you like it's your truth, you believe it.
Yeah.
And it can be so divisive, and like it sucks that like sometimes people are like pulled apart because of literally what they believe. I know it's like the most basic thing to say, but like it's scary when truths don't align sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be very.
It's literally why we have politics.
Yeah. It can be very, very not good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought it was really cool, man. I dig it. I dig it a lot. And the biggest thing is like this is something that you're really passionate about, and it comes through the song. Like the fact that you track the vocals. Like you gave me the vocal stem, and I was like, oh, sick, scratch vocals, cool. And I listened, I was like, this is sick. And you're like, no, that's the vocal. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
We didn't retrack it.
Like,
and I didn't. I mean, it took me a couple tries to get that one take. but I did do it in one take, and it's also why the arrangement is so sparse.
But yeah, dude, the song's sick, and like the message behind it actually means something. Like so many bands I've worked with, again, not throwing shade, they write songs, and I'll ask the vocalist, like, what is this song about? What does this mean to you? Like, what are you trying to convey? Like, what do you hope to reach? Like, what message do you hope to spread?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people write songs not knowing what they're writing them for. So it's really nice, like when I could ask you, like, yo, what's this about? And like, you not only do you know what it's about, but you have such strong feeling and emotion about it. That's like, man, this holds weight. This is heavy. Like, it might only be drop C, but it's freaking heavy.
Yeah, it's drop C. That's another thing that I wanted to make sure that we did. So I've got another band, and we were playing in drop G. Just from playing in hardcore bands locally, I've discovered something that I think that most people, they don't want to admit. Lowering your tuning does not actually make your riffs and breakdowns heavier.
No, like,
it doesn't.
The riff has to be heavy. Like, if the riff is heavy,
yes.
Dude, this is a hot take, but like, Define the Great Line is in drop D, and there's some songs on Define the Great Line that are like heavier than bands in drop F. Like,
yeah,
the Under Oath album, Define the Great Line, like, I don't know, like, I could be like way out of line on that, but I think Define the Great Line is so heavy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's in drop D, dude. And it's because like the riffs they wrote and like the composition is just like, holy shit, like, that's intense.
Yeah. Dude, there are some freaking Beartooth songs that are in E flat, dude. Fucking, and like Metallica, dude, that shit is way heavier than a lot of these drop E bands and drop F and drop G. Like, the tuning really doesn't. I would say that it changes the way you play the instrument.
Yeah. Are we officially old now?
We might be.
I think we're old.
Yeah.
Cheers. I think we're old now. We're like, oh, you had too low, dude. I remember being younger and being like, yeah,
we're playing classic rock. Metalcore is classic rock now.
The other cool thing is, like, we'd wrap it up. Like, the last thing, the drums are literally just like what Saud gave me MIDI and then mix wave, like, and Saud's preset. Like, it's literally just Slipknot.
Yeah. Oh God, we have to talk about the snare.
The snare is so sick.
So the snare comes from the Jay Weinberg. Oh my God, listen to that. Yeah, so this snare is definitely inspired by all the slam bands that I've been listening to and seeing lately. I saw Peeling Flesh and Sang with Sugabog.
Dude, their snare
oh my
is so
God,
sick.
dude! When I heard the dead as shit,
it sounds like a kickball in the best way possible. It's so sick.
That freaking snare, dude! I was like, oh my God, that is what I have to get that in there. I have to figure out how to do it too.
These drums
so
are
yeah,
so great.
Mixwave, Jay Weinberg. Thank you, Mixwave, for making my job easy. And there's nothing on these drums too.
No, like, I literally
look at this. Like, you just have a limiter on there.
I have the Flatline, which I'd swear by, and I'm using the hybrid clipper limiter, and I got it kind of dimed. The drums are like
that is amazing. That is so sick. There you go, everybody. Producing music, you do not need fancy drum mixing plugins. You don't need anything. Just get this thing. That's it.
Yeah, dude, I love
Mixwave. Thank you.
Yeah,
you guys rule.
All the Mixwave stuff. It just sounds great, dude. Like,
the thing I love most, other than the snare and how it just comes mixed out of the box,
the cymbals.
The cymbals sound very natural. Like, the cymbal work on here. You know, we modeled the cymbal. Articulations and stuff after, what David Puckett would play, the original drummer from Crimson Armada. And when I listen to it, I can feel that he's like doing these things, playing this way, and it sounds real.
Well, also the crazy thing about Mixwave is, like, I have it slammed right now. Like, I normally wouldn't slam it this hard, but like, you can make this work in like a light classic rock band, or you can make it work in like a deathcore band. Like, it's so versatile. Like, you don't have to slam it this hard.
Because like, even this plugin, like, this is the Jay Weinberg plugin, right? This is meant for metal, but if you actually go into the presets, you can get like a raw punk drum mix out of this by you see where it says default kit? there's an unmixed kit. The unmixed rock kit sounds like a hardcore punk or a punk drum mix. And I have used this on my other band, Lucky Shot, when we were doing pre-production. Like, it gives you a nice big open room, like raw drum kit. Yeah, so this plugin like is amazing. Like, I have not, admittedly, I've not tried all the other mixed wave drum plugins because the Jay Weinberg gives you so much. I haven't needed another one.
I think I have them all.
Yeah, I mean, you're a producer, you need them all. But for somebody like me who's mainly focused on songwriting, like this covers like all my bases, which is really cool.
Dude, I've been looking for that snare sound forever. Like that is the snare sound. I think the only thing that comes close to it is Andrew. Oh man, not Andrew Sheps. Andrew Wade. He's a phenomenal producer. He did like A Day to Remember, and yeah, he has a one shot in like the drum. I think it's Drum Forge. Their one shots. He's got a pack or something like that, and his one shot, he has like one of those snares in there. But like to have it in a MIDI, like not just a one shot, is like huge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, to get like the
articulation,
the different articulation. Yeah, exactly.
The fact that you can do like like the TCIs are cool. They're just not as the MIDI is way more sensitive. Like the round robins and stuff. Like you can really like do a roll. Like like you can really be dynamic with it, I guess is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's pretty much it. If there's anything else you want to talk about, we have.
Now mute him.
It's another one of those things like subtle.
It adds like a little bit of sludge, and like this breakdown is like a very heavily inspired by like beatdown hardcore. This is probably not a very Crimson thing to do, which I really don't care. A lot of I don't care that it's not Crimson. Like this is kind of what I wanted to hear, so I put it in there, and I think it fits really well, and kind of brings in new elements of like how metal and hardcore has evolved over the last 15 years into the things that we loved about Crimson Guardians.
I would challenge that so hard and be like, dude, like that is more Crimson than, because you are Crimson. So like the fact that you wanted that like makes it more. It's just Crimson 2.0. You know what I mean? Okay. Like it's just the next evolution. Like it's just getting better. It's growth.
Yeah, wait till they hear the next song.
The next joint is sick, yeah.
What else? Is there anything else to talk about?
This piano thing was kind of cool. I did this.
Yeah, this is the only production in the song. It's just piano. Oh, and then there's that whammy guitar
too. The whammy guitar is on the effects track. We just wanted something like evil and like sinister, basically. Like,
yeah, it's just a Floyd Rose dive bomb.
Yeah, you got the Randy Rhoads and just.
It doesn't like it just adds nice pad and texture and creates a little bit of tension in the part.
Yeah, I like to view every song as like a movie, and that like kind of like it just adds that like that theatrical kind of element to it. Like almost like cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, sweet. Dude. Ooh, yeah. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the tempo changes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, can you open up the tempo map?
Yeah, when you sent me this, I was like, dude, are you?
Look at these things.
Yeah.
So we start at 240, and then we drop down immediately to 220 in the verse, and then there's a hard drop to 180.
That's 190, right?
Oh, is it 190? Okay, yeah, 190.
And then it goes back up to 220.
220, hard. Yes. And then right before, do we drop to? Is that
160? Yeah, then it goes to 160, and then back up to 200.
Just for one bar. So it just creates a little bit of extra tension. So this was inspired again by the hardcore scene. This is how bands play in real life. They're not when they change tempos, it's not clean and not like perfectly orchestrated and calculated. They kind of like look at each other and wait for the
Yeah.
right time to go. And I wanted to kind of emulate that in the track.
It's just emotion. Like letting the computer and the grid be the conductor makes everything sound stale to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So like when you can make, you know, a human the conductor, and you're doing that by like manually changing the grid,
Yeah.
it gives the song so much more life. So.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that kind of complements that we didn't mention is that there are no repeating riffs in this song.
Yeah, dude, we were tracking it. I'm like, yo, can we copy paste this? Like, and you're like, nope.
No, because this riff does not come back, and it's not going to. And I think in the new one is the same, right? Yeah, there are no repeating riffs.
Yeah, we're about like halfway done with tracking the guitars, and
there are no repeating riffs.
Sick.
Yeah, if you want to hear that riff again, you're going to play the song again.
That is cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I dig it, dude. I think that you're on a really cool path, and I think that the music you create really like.
Oh, stop it!
Oh no, it's just cool, man.
Stop.
It's cool, man. It's cool to hear this because like I grew up as a Crimson fan, and even seeing like the old album on Spotify, like it's sick, dude. Because I grew up with like the original Revelations. Like we were playing shows at the basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like way back in the day.
For those who don't know, Mooney and I played local shows when Crimson was a local band.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And now we're creating the future of TCA together, which is awesome.
It's sick.
So yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers. We need to put a sound effect on it.
Like,
yeah. We'll do something.
All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Theme song? It's perfect.
That'll do it.
Okay.
I think that'll work.
Yeah, that'll work.